In recent times, Vivo has become one of the most innovative smartphone companies around. They were the first ones to bring a pop-up camera, and now they are going to be one of the first companies in the world to provide a hole punch camera for less than 20,000 rupees. And that's going to happen with the new Z1 Pro, which has been launched in India. Apart from this hole punch camera, this phone brings a lot of functional niceties to the table. For instance, it's one of the first phones in the world to be powered by Qualcomm's new Snapdragon 712 processor. It has a triple camera system on the back, it's got a snazzy design and a humongous 5000 mAh battery. So let's unbox this and find out what's there inside. Vivo, they are also IPL sponsors, so they always have snazzy branding. This is a clear case and some instructions and some technical specifications of the product. It's a pretty nice case out here. It's pretty standard issue though. Here we have the Z1 Pro. Looks quite gorgeous. It's got this really nice gradient finish on the back, fingerprint scanner. They've already pre-installed a screen guard, and as you can see, the hole punch display is also here. Let's fire it up. You get a better idea of what to expect here. We'll get back to this in a bit. We've got an 18-watt charger, so this supports fast charging, and a USB cable. It's a USB-A to micro USB cable, so Vivo is still kind of sticking with micro USB on the back of their phone. And some earphones out here, they look like AirPods that you get with the iPhone, or used to get with the iPhone. Okay. That's that. Overall, this looks like a very snazzy phone, so let's get down to the nuts and bolts of this device and review it now. When one talks about sub 20,000 rupees smartphones, then often one thinks about Xiaomi's Redmi Note 7 line. And of course, they are fantastic phones in their own right, but there are tons of new players now. Even Samsung has launched the M40, which comes with a hole punch display. Now, Vivo's latest phone, the Z1 Pro, is their first phone with a hole punch display, and arguably this is the cheapest phone that you can now get with this style of front-facing camera and display. It's all screen, which is wonderful. A bit of a chin out here on the bottom, but it's a really nice display. It's got nice and vivid colors, and overall it looks really pleasing to the eye. It's great for watching Netflix, and it's superb for gaming. Talking about gaming, this phone is going to be a little special because this phone is powered by Qualcomm's latest chip, the 712, which is like one step below their 800 line of flagship grade Snapdragon processors. Performance is really good. It's really fast, and if you're going to play games like PUBG, like Asphalt, this is going to do the job. And you can play these games for a very long time because this phone has got a great thermal envelope, so it really doesn't get warm that quickly. And on top of that, it's got a humongous 5000 mAh battery, which means that you can play games for hours and hours, and this phone is not going to break a sweat or lose charge. By the way, this phone comes with an 18-watt charger, as I showed earlier. Still charging through USB, micro USB, which is kind of old school, but a lot of Indians still care about micro USB. Not everyone has upgraded to a flagship grade phone like a OnePlus 7 that they are used to USB Type-C. USB Type-C hasn't really taken over the entire world yet. The other thing I would really like to touch upon is the design of this phone. You've got this gradient back, like frosted glass out here, but a metal frame out here. It feels really substantial to hold also. Of course, it's a little bulky because of the huge battery and really large screen out here, but it's not bad at all considering most phones are really big. On the front, you also get a 32 megapixel camera, which is actually a damn good selfie camera. Of course, Vivo is known for their selfie cameras, and this phone is no slouch. If you like to sort of indulge in a bit of personal vanity, this one kind of hits the spot. I like these selfies out here. And overall, if you're looking for a phone for less than 20,000 rupees, hardware-wise, this phone is all the rage. But there are some issues with this phone. The main issue is Vivo's take on Android. This is running on Android Pie, but Vivo has really customized the hell out of Android. Even though this is nothing new for a Chinese smartphone manufacturer, the problem out here is not just these icons looking similar to iOS, the fact that they have completely changed the Android interface in a very weird way. For example, when you sort of swipe down, you would expect some app controls out here, some Android controls. Now those controls aren't here. They are more like older versions of iOS, like iOS 7, and so you have to summon them from bottom like this. And this is not really intuitive, particularly when you're talking about a phone which is this big. You anyways can't hit the top corner and you have to do this. Maybe the Vivo guys thought that because this phone is going to be a little top heavy, might as well put those settings out here for a swipe. But a lot of people are actually used to app drawers. That's how on most Android phones, like Android One phones or Pixel smartphones, you get app drawers. On OnePlus phones, you don't get an app drawer out here, you get this weird contextual setting menu. It's not bad, but it will take some getting used to. Plus the fact that there's a lot of bloatware. From where I am right now, I can see a bunch of applications that I don't need. I've got this thing called Daily Hunt, WPS Office. Why would I want WPS Office when I can have Google Docs out there? Web novel. Well, what kind of web novels are we reading on the phone these days? Huh? And you also have a phone pay app, which could obviously be useful. Stuff that you don't need. Would be appreciated, Vivo, if you just got rid of this garbage. Overall, software-wise, this phone leaves some room for improvement. Now this phone has a triple camera system on the back. Nothing surprising, but considering it's less than 20,000 rupees, it's a great deal. You get a 16 megapixel primary camera and two other cameras, one for wide angle and another depth sensor. Now the big deal out here is that this camera performs really well when it's given good lighting. In daylight, for macro shots, this is going to be really nice. But as the light starts thinning out, the camera performance kind of peters out. It's not going to be that great, it's going to be pretty grainy, it's going to be like pretty average, to be honest. Like if you're looking for a great camera phone in this price point, then probably the Redmi Note 7 Pro is the better camera phone, even though it has one less camera, but that 48 megapixel sensor is a bit of a beauty. And this 16 megapixel sensor can't really match up with that. But where it kind of makes up is the front facing camera. It's a 32 MP hole punch camera and it takes some really good selfies. Like I said earlier, it really hits the sweet spot if you're into a bit of personal vanity. Let's take another selfie out here. Yeah, looks pretty good out here. Long story short, if you want a punch hole display and your budget is less than 20,000 rupees, you basically have two options. You have the Samsung Galaxy M40 and you have the VIVO Z1 Pro. Which one is better? That's a tricky question to answer. On paper, I would say, in terms of hardware, Vivo has slightly better hardware in terms of performance, throughput. But Samsung sort of covers it up with possibly a better display, possibly a better camera system. It's really neck and neck. But for me, what's going to be the clincher is the difference in software. And I think Samsung's software is slightly better than Vivo's. But overall, this is not a bad phone. This is actually a really, really good phone. It's also better than the Samsung in terms of build quality because it looks really, really distinct, flashy like a Corvette, and it feels substantial at the same time. The Samsung one feels a little cheap to hold. So it's going to be tricky. It's going to be kind of a balance between functionality, looks, and what brand you like. It's going to boil down to that. If you like Vivo better than Samsung, then this is going to be the better phone for you. If you like Samsung more, there's your answer.